And we are live with another episode of the X-Men 97 Aftershow. It's that show brought to you by The Key, where we talk about the new X-Men animated series, which is a sequel of the old X-Men animated series. This is X-Men 97. We're here to talk about episode 8, Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera. We also got co-host Aaron Rhodes, a.k.a. King Krakoa. Aaron, what's up, man?
It's just another beautiful day out here in these streets. It's been good. It's been pretty rainy today, but I've been chilling reading comics all day, so I've been pretty good.
I mean, that's cool. If it's raining outside and you're inside reading comics, like, that's a good day.
Yeah,
That's a good day.
right, right. I even decided to go on the porch and like just sit out there and like read. I was like, this is. I feel so old, but I feel amazing right
I mean,
now.
that is kind of like, I feel like that's like a specific type of like TikTok that you could do, with the
For
rain
sure.
pattering down and like you're reading your comics and like this is
Right?
is that cottage core? I don't know. I don't know
It
TikTok
feels
stuff.
right.
Yeah.
I had
Well,
some chill music playing in the background. It felt right. I felt like I should have had Nora Jones playing, and it would have been perfect.
okay. All right. Well,
Nice.
I'm glad that you got to experience that today. We also
Yeah.
got special guest Neebz, aka
Yeah.
Watch with Neebz. What's up, Neebz? How's it
What's
going?
going on? Pretty good, man. I'm just having a good old time, getting my work done, listening to BBL Drizzy because I can't get that song out of my head.
Have you been like creating? Have you been writing for it?
No,
Are you gonna
it's
rap?
the whole Drake and thing. It's just I just
Yeah.
love it's just all over my For You page, man.
Yeah.
I can't get away from
Yes.
it. I can't get away. You know what I love? I love the memes of like people doing the Euphoria track to like characters from like
Yes.
Marvel and DC and the X-Men. It's so funny. It's so hilarious. Just one with like Michael from The Office to Toby and like I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that it's so funny.
If we're gonna tie this in with X-Men 97, who is saying it to who? Out of the characters in this show, I hate with the I forget what the lyrics are, but it's like the I hate ones. I hate the way
Yeah.
you walk, the way you talk, where you wear your pants, whatever.
I I think it's got to be Wolverine to Cyclops.
I was
I
just
don't
gonna
know.
say
I
that,
don't
Neebs.
know.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't
Like,
think there's as much hate in this version. They've been through a lot, right?
He just
maybe
hates the
not
way
to the
he does everything.
Cyclops.
Like he just hates the
Right.
way he does everything. That's what it is.
It
Mm.
may
I'm
not be
sure he
on
hates the
Cyclops' side,
right.
but it's definitely on Wolverine's side. Like I feel
Yeah.
like, and why wouldn't you? You're like he's literally you're living every day with the man who took the woman you love and who also is married and has a baby with her. Like there's heat.
I
There's
feel
heat.
I feel like Wolverine's grown, and also I do like the fact about this show that Wolverine's not in every episode and every scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Oh,
know,
what about Sabretooth? Sabretooth to Wolverine. That's a good one too.
we have yet to see Sabretooth
That's
this
it.
season
That's it.
because it's
Yeah.
not the Wolverine show.
Actually, yeah.
You know,
We
what about Executioner in that like second episode?
Oh yeah.
Talking about
love it.
mutants, uh, the Executioner to like Magneto or something, or
I'm gonna
you
go
know,
make that edit right now. I'm gonna go make the executioner edit
Yes.
right now.
because I mean, he literally, he was not playing. He
No.
had a whole monologue. He was there to fight. He had the power dampeners and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I told you, gave very much Marvel's January 6th, and I loved it.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. So uh, Neebs, how you liking this series so far? We're in episode 8, so like 7 episodes before this episode. Like, how have you been liking it?
I love this. This is one of like the best things to be like
Yeah.
rejuvenated since like ever. Yeah, I think it's so great. I did have some like issues with them like speeding past the Madeline Pryor thing. I wanted
Yeah,
that to sizzle a little bit, right? I wanted to
Me,
feel it, but
I feel
it's
so
so
seen right
good.
now, man.
Yeah, it's still good though. Like they're not
Yeah,
missing a beat. It's a little fast. I would have liked to just stick with that a little bit longer, let it sizzle in, let it absorb, because we went from one story to another, and the pace
hmm
is great. But there's some stories that deserve a little bit more love. But
it needs a
overall,
slow burn.
right?
Yeah,
But I love
so
it. I love it.
I'm glad that you've been liking it. I think that like people forget. You know how like when the new Star Wars trilogy came out and people had problems with it, people didn't
Mhm.
realize that like back in the original trilogy there were things that didn't make sense
Right.
as
Hmm.
it came out. Like
Yeah.
suddenly Darth Vader is Luke's father, and you're like, what? And suddenly like Luke is Leia's brother, and you're like, double
Yeah.
what? Um, people like watching the original X-Men cartoon. Like so many of those storylines were condensed. They were like
Yeah.
3 episode like three
Yeah.
parters where it's like suddenly she's Dark Phoenix, and like I'm sure people back then were like, what? How could they condense all of that all down? Like
Right.
this
Mm.
should be like a whole season's worth of
Yeah.
content. But, in this we
They
get
did a good job
Inferno
with
in
the
one episode.
Sinister. Yeah, I think they did a good job with like in the original well, at least like slow burning Sinister while they get into like everything in that room. But like I agree with Neebs. I would have appreciated more of a slow burn, and that was exactly what I talked about for episode 3, especially for Maddie. Like I feel like she deserved like at least a 2 episode arc to just like branch out her character and give us a chance to know her. But even then, like it was still a pretty well done episode. Like I still like
Right.
actually it still gave us a chance to know her, and then of course we get to know her at, when we go to Genosha and everything. So it was still pretty good.
Yeah.
Like even the things you like complain about, there's still like an upside about, like there's never like, oh no, I completely hated it, because the things they take away they kind of make up for in other areas.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean I think it's a general thing that like people have a love-hate relationship with
For sure.
adaptations, right?
For sure.
Like adaptations in general, like they're
Yeah.
always going to be different than the source material. But the question is, how do you change it? Some people like the change, some people don't. Some people want Superman
Right.
to have his trunks, and some people don't. Some people
Right.
think
Right.
that's like really integral, and some people are like, no, let Superman kill. And then some people are like, it's really integral for him not to kill. So like
Right.
different adaptations are gonna do different things.
Hmm.
Me personally, I'm okay with Inferno being one episode because I don't like magic plot lines, but that's just me.
Yeah.
In my
Not a magic
X-Men,
guy.
that's just me.
Hmm.
But I've talked about that enough. I mean, I don't. Who cares about my input? Neebs, what were you gearing up for? Tolerance is Extinction, the 3-part stuff. Like, what were you thinking was going to happen? Because we've dealt with a lot so far in those first 7 episodes.
Yeah, I think like the last episode, we stop with Storm and we get a little bit of like how she gets her powers back. So it's kind of like, okay, let's end this arc and now we're gonna start this new one. And then you're like, okay, where do we go from here? How do we deal with Gambit's death?
Hmm.
Rogue, what's going on with her? We know that's gonna be a big part of the story. I think that's what I wanted to see the most. I was like, I gotta know what's happening with the whole Gambit. Are they giving him, a send off? What's Rogue doing?
Right.
That's what I really, really cared about. I didn't know how fast they're gonna go into the Nimrod story and all that stuff. Like that started just coming real fast. I do want to say, fucking love. I don't know if what's the curse here, but
No, yeah, you could say whatever you want.
I love that Nightcrawler is getting his flowers and he's getting more and
Right.
more action. I love
It's
Nightcrawler so much.
amazing.
It makes me so happy to see him in the credits and like actually doing stuff. It's just really, really great.
Yeah,
And that was one of my favorite things. And then the story's progressing, and it came to the point where like I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's Bastion doing, and like what's his plan.
Yeah.
It's all out there. So I'm really, really interested in it. I'm really, really liking it. It is. There are parts of it that I'm like, I didn't see this coming, which is really, really good. It was
Yeah.
good. Like some things I did. I'm like, all right, Magneto's alive. I kind of figured that was gonna happen, right? It would have been anticlimactic for him to be dead. So that was expected. But then there's other stuff that's happening, and I'm like, what's going? Are there still more surprises? Is there gonna be someone above Bastion? Like we don't know.
I mean, I foresee a lot of surprises. Aaron, you're nodding your head. Has has
Oh man.
have there been a lot of surprises for you? Because like
Yeah.
we're all look, we're all coming at X-Men from different experience levels, but also
For
we're
sure.
all like roughly the same age. So like we've had X-Men in the past. So like there's a certain base amount of knowledge at the very least. Like
Right.
Right.
Aaron, have you been surprised by this show?
Um. Surprisingly, yes. Actually, I'm because I'm very much one of those people who anticipate what happens before it happens, kind of guy. And like, there are certain things where like I'm surprised about it, and even if I'm not surprised about, I'm surprised in the way they go about certain things, like, or even the way they talk about certain subject matter, like even in the Jean Grey Cyclops of it all and Madeline of it all, like the way they do it, that it's gives you an adult feel but not too adult. It they do a lot of very masterful work in this, and I didn't. And it's like Neeb said, the pace in which they go is, you don't expect it, but it's they do a very good job at pacing out the episodes, especially with like the last week episode, finding out like the aftermath of what Genosha is and where, like, especially where Rogue was. That was that I like that. We got a Captain Marvel, Captain America moment, which I wholeheartedly appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, we
She
get
yeeted that frisbee.
yeah, we get more
She yeeted
cameos
that
in this
frisbee.
episode too, which is cool.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, let's talk about this, because I mean, we talked last week with Mariah Carly. I had she's a huge Rogue fan, so we talked a lot about Rogue, and that was a very Rogue centric episode. In this, we're seeing everybody, like it's everything. And I just wanted to point out that I love Nightcrawler also. I love swashbuckler Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Nightcrawler who's fun
Yes.
and like not tortured priest Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Like his
Right.
religion is a part of him, but it's not like his
Right.
defining characteristic is that he's
Exactly.
a priest that
Right.
looks like a demon. Like that's not. It's that he
Right.
looks like a demon, but like he's cute and he's fun and he
Right.
like
Kurt,
likes to like play with
excuse
swords.
my language,
Like
but Kurt
My-
fucks,
Yeah.
and we love that for him.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when Wolverine goes like, "I got 6," and then he comes out with like, "I got 9."
Yeah.
More like
I was
9.
like,
I
that was
lived.
good. Also, 9 is no for German, which
I was
is
thinking
also
that if,
yeah.
if it's a double entendre. Yeah.
So
You
good.
guys didn't even realize that. You guys, oh man, now
I
I
was gonna
love it
say
even
that.
more. Yes.
No, what
Yeah,
about
I'm
what about
loving it.
when Wolverine stabbed the guy and he takes him through the brimstone dimension while he
I
teleports?
was just about to bring that up. Seeing the brimstone teleportation
Yeah.
was so dope. Like actually seeing that, like like actually going through it.
Yeah,
I thought that was a beautifully made like scene. That was
they ate.
the swashbuckling era. They ate that like
Yeah.
all the way, no crumbs. Like the swashbuckle. As soon as I saw the swords drop, I was like, oh, it's time. And then I saw the sword on the tail too. I was like, oh shit, we're about to work, and I'm ready for it.
It's been a really good time to be, an X-Men fan. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. I'm trying to figure out, where does this episode start?
It starts with no. I was about to say. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one, guys. Oh, where does it start?
Oh, okay. So one of the plot lines in this episode is Cable, Jean, and Cyclops, and it starts off with them,
Yes.
like
The road trip in the Porsche.
yeah, right. That's like
Yeah.
like a thing, and
The
like
family road trip.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was corny. I didn't. I wasn't feeling the Porsche right. I'm sorry. Everything else about it was good. But
I'm a corny person. I loved it. I was like, this is so cute.
I was like,
I
why?
was like, look at him with his mom and stepmom / aunt. This is amazing.
I did like how she put him in a seat belt.
Yes. That had me dying. I did as soon as I did like the little connection that they have with it. You can see that they're gonna grow a relationship in it.
Yeah.
But like the finding out about the truth about like the Sentinels and everything was the start of it, when Cable tells them about the future,
Yeah.
and we get that little like Polaris cameo and Rachel Summers cameo.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a nice little moment, but also we
so.
find out that Genosha is a fixed point.
Yeah. Nexus point, right? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. By the way, I'm really tired of people, and I've said this before, but people have yet to correct themselves. The MCU is a universe. The U is a universe. Saying that this is part of the MCU, I know they mean shorthand. It's part of this general multiversal concept that they're building in this phase 5 of the MCU, but it's not the MCU. So let's.
No.
It grinds my gears, just like when people say because people love the clickbait. When people say, this one time, what did I, oh, this one time Wolverine hit on underage Mary Jane and they had sex. And it's like, that was an alternate universe. That was Ultimate Marvel. Like, say what you want. That's Ultimate Marvel. Like, that is not, like, the Wolverine in this show, right? It's clickbaiting to say that. So, to be like, X-Men 97 is part of the MCU, it's like, no.
It's a part of, if anything, the MCU is a part of the multiverse that's within it, but
the
it's
X-Men
not.
97 is, yeah.
Yeah, right. But it doesn't, the MCU doesn't make up what goes on there.
Right. The events of the MCU are not in this. And these events are not in the MCU.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like I guess you would say like high schools, right? Like in high school you have classes, and that's like one tree. There's a bunch of branches that are multiverses, but you also have other high schools in other districts. Then you have states, so there's always like levels of like, different deviations.
I don't want to get like too off topic, but like I've always thought about like all these different multiverses, and people just assume that all multiverses are the same multiverse, and that the multiverse is infinite, but they're all different sorts of infinite. Like, they're not connected unless there's something that ties it in, such as a rule or an event. You know what I mean? Like, if there's one event that happens that spans everything, then they're connected. Or if there's one rule, like, you can't go back in time to a fixed point, sure. A canon incident, sure. But, like, the MCU and the MCM breaks a lot of its own rules. A lot. So.
You want to know what my wildest takes for the MCU universe and timeline?
What?
Sooner or later, we're going to be part of the universe. I feel like they're going to break the fourth wall to the point where like we're actually in, and instead of Spider-Man fighting these bad guys, it's going to be Tom Holland, the actor, with no powers, trying to figure out what he's doing here.
So I mean, sure. I mean, they've done that before, like Spider-Man the animated series. Spider-Man,
they did that.
He goes and he meets Stan Lee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see that coming, man. I see that coming. I could see them doing an ode to that.
So here's my only stipulation. It's not technically our universe unless there's something that on our end we see that also happens in that.
Right.
So
like what you would call it, like a premiere event that's from real life.
But it could just happen in that. Like for me, it would have to be like something that like was unexplained, like something disappeared and can't be proven on our end, and we see the reason why on their end.
Like the Malaysia flight a few years ago.
Let's just say, I mean, it would be in bad taste. It would be in bad taste. But if suddenly Doctor Doom appears, he takes that plane into the Marvel universe, then technically he's crossed into our world, and that's the explanation.
Yeah, that could work.
It's in bad taste, but okay. So anyway, we're with the multiverse. Anyway.
I mean, if you're dealing with the X-Men, you're not and you're dealing with the multiverse. Let's be honest.
I hate the multiverse.
It just was a dystopian end where Logan is the last one to survive. Like, what's the difference?
Right. Literally, they're dealing with multiversal Logans right now, and crazy.
No, yeah, I do accept the multiverse when it comes to like there was a Neebz. I don't know if you know the Exiles. Do you know what the Exiles are?
I do, but I don't have big knowledge. But I know of them.
It was like a semi-short-lived team. It was like 3 or 4 years of a comic run in which a bunch of different X-Men characters from different universes get put together on a team. And it's like this is like precursor to like What If the show and all that stuff. But it was very similar to What If the show in that respect, where it's like they're there to complete a task. And I love the Exiles.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of the multiverse as an overused concept.
Yeah, I mean, like, they've already broken it into the Marvel, so I'm kind of like okay with it. But like, if they started doing it with like Star Wars, I would be like, come on, now it's everywhere, right? Let's keep something.
It's capped out.
Let's keep something streamlined.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people have been doing the multiversal thing, and like we get it. It is a cool concept, but also
Invincible's
there's a
doing
time and a
it. There's
place.
so many. Yeah,
I like the way
Right. Like
Invincible does it. It has to be
yeah.
streamlined. It has to be like contained and not
yeah.
overused.
Yes.
You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
it.
I feel like I feel like the X-Men do that. They do a lot of multiversal stuff, and then they're like, okay, that's enough. But they know when, like, okay, they've had enough of this, guys. Let's pull back on this time
But the good
travel
thing
and
is,
Yeah.
over dimensional shit.
the showrunner said that there is no time travel that's going to save us from this. So
Right.
they're not doing the
Yeah,
time travel gimmick.
Right.
So we're gonna get a real conclusion out of this.
and I
So
love that in the first part of this episode they point that out that this is something that can't be changed. This is just
Right.
what is what is.
Cable does talk about that. Yeah, that he's come
Hmm.
back in time enough times to give up. Like he has
Right.
tried and tried and tried, and they do say that Maddie died, but I don't think Maddie's dead.
Right.
I don't think
He said
so.
her last. He said specifically. She said specifically her last thought was that was love.
Yeah.
So that might have just been her last thought, and like she went into. I feel like there's probably a Jamaica Bay moment where she's like concluding herself in some
Mm,
telepathic whatever, and like until she heals, and I'm cool with that. Like they better not kill her that way.
yeah, that'd be tough. What I was gonna say is that X Men deals less with multiversal stuff and more with like alternate timelines and possible futures, and
Mhm.
they do
yeah,
that a lot, right? And so in
yeah.
this, we do see the future that Nimrod is from, that Bastion kind of
Hmm.
derives from, where this future where all these robots have kind of assimilated themselves with humans and created this quote unquote utopian future, but they're using mutants to kind of be the backbone, the
Right.
labor
I mean,
of.
where Cable's from?
Is that where Cable's from? It's also
Yeah,
where
that's
where
the.
Nimrod's from, right? Like that
Uh,
future that we saw.
yeah. Right, and then we find out about how we find out about his part in the past, I guess, or with Bastion later on in the
Yeah.
episode.
So I mean, that's the plot line that Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Cable are going on, right?
Hmm.
They're
Right.
talking about this. Then they go meet the old lady in that abandoned
Hmm.
town, which was
Mhm.
Right,
creepy.
Bastion's mom.
And then we get the Porsche driving scene.
Wait, do you guys know the Easter egg with Sebastian's mom?
I heard about that. Yeah.
She's in an episode of the original, basically the episode One Man's Worth, where Bishop goes back in time with Wolverine and Storm, and they go to a bar, and the waitress literally rats out
No
Storm and Wolverine for holding
fucking
hands, and
way.
because the bartender's
Oh.
racist. That waitress is Bastion's mom. So she
Well,
a racist.
She's a racist.
a racist waitress.
Trickle down.
Um, and and that's the episode Nimrod goes back in
Mind blown.
time, and Nimrod gets blown up and reforms
Yep.
so many
Yep.
times in that two.
Yep.
I just watched that two-parter because it was recommended, and like yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild. It's cool.
Yep.
Bo DeMaio has been tying in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know.
And
Yeah.
that's what happens when like you don't get you can get this cohesiveness when you have like one singular mind that's kind of overseeing everything. It's not all
Right.
Bo
Right.
DeMaio, of course, but like his thought process.
People
When you
who
have like a James
right.
Gunn, when James Gunn
Hmm.
can do what he wants to do, things work way smoother than like five people trying to like
Yeah, too many chefs in the
you
kitchen.
know
In the
yeah
kitchen, right.
yeah. So we have a couple of different plot lines. What are the different plot lines? We have Cyclops and Jean Grey and Cable. We
We
have
have.
Roberto and Jubilee
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
doing their thing. We have Wolverine and Nightcrawler.
Hmm.
We have what's going on with Bastion, Val Cooper, Magneto.
Hmm.
Did you guys see that coming? That Val betrayed everybody?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I
I was
also thought
hoping for
I also
that.
thought she was gonna be Mystique.
I
which
thought
is
you were
like
gonna be
what
Mystique
For sure.
also.
everyone's
For
thinking
sure.
that, but like I don't know, maybe not.
You think she still could be?
Like, I'm at like 15% because I was like, at this point, I feel like she would have told them. She would have revealed herself at least to Magneto when they got like together by themselves.
Yeah,
But then I'm like, if she's still there and she allowed them to capture her, I'm just like, yeah, nah, she's still that's her.
Yeah.
I was I was hoping for more though, because I was very upset when I found out that she was a part of this. I was like, oh no, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
Do we still
You
think
know,
we're gonna get a Mystique reveal in this season?
That'd be so cool.
probably not.
I think it would be cool if we do get one, but it's someone we didn't expect at all.
Who could it be?
Mm,
I don't know. Who could it be?
like right, like because Morph is way too obvious.
Yeah.
Like it was
Can't be Morph.
Mystique pretending to be Morph?
To be
Okay.
Morph,
I
right?
don't
Well,
know.
Mystique can't get powers of people,
Yeah.
right? So she could only turn into.
Mm-mm.
By the way, I didn't know Morph could get powers.
Only
That
physical
is
powers.
something.
Only physical powers.
But,
So
like-
like if it,
Oh, okay.
Quicksilver?
yeah, so it's just speed. It's just like your
Quicksilver's more than just physical speed.
I don't know.
I
Well,
mean, technically it is. It's physical.
but I think the rule is that like if it's like a metaphysical power, like being big, being strong, being fast, he can do that. But if it's the power that like had like projectiles coming out of you, or magic, or magnetism, or telepathy, he can't do that.
Huh.
So
Yeah, like
So
he can turn to angel
he-
because they're just wings, right? So
Right,
he can
right.
do that.
but he can just like make his feet run fast? Like he can just do that?
I guess at an
See,
extent, probably not as
the
fast as Quicksilver, which is why he got jumped.
right, true. The way I thought it was, he just like has like he got experimented on by Sinister. That's why he was able to do it. That's how I like explained it away in my mind. Because I was like, how do you automatically have these like crazy powers? Because there were a few of like feats that he was doing
Yeah,
that I couldn't like. I was like, okay, that's no way you should be able to like have the strength
yeah,
like that.
Right.
But then like then the Quicksilver episode happened. And I was like, okay, so you have their abilities, but somehow. But I'm glad you explained that because that makes sense.
I mean,
That
he
yeah.
turned into Juggernaut in this episode.
But he wasn't as
yeah,
strong as the Juggernaut though. 'Cause
right.
He still got beat.
Well, he didn't
even
get
though
beat down. He got like flipped over, and
Thrown, yeah.
so like
Mm.
I don't
And Nimrod would
know.
have done that to the regular Juggernaut
Also,
too.
Juggernaut's
So
not even a mutant, right?
Right.
true,
Juggernaut's
touche.
not in the mutant, not a mutant. It depends on what continuity, but yes, in
Right.
normal comics, he's not a mutant. In
Yeah.
the X-Men '92 show, he's not a mutant.
Yeah.
In X-Men Evolution, they say he has a latent mutation.
And the
Yeah.
Deadpool, he's also a mutant.
And in what?
Deadpool?
Oh yeah, he's a mutant in there,
Mhm.
and he's a mutant in X-Men. X3.
X-Men Last Stand.
X3: The Last Stand.
No,
Yeah.
we don't talk
Mhm.
about that one.
I just watched it. It has problems, but whatever.
I didn't hate it. Still don't hate it.
Yeah.
Right. I
I
don't
mean,
hate it.
I think
The entire Juggernaut plot was a meme. Like
Yeah.
it was based on a meme.
Yeah.
How bad it was.
I
But
remember.
you can't help
I
it.
remember.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Like, okay.
Uh,
So what happens here? So like we get Jubilee and Roberto just like hanging out with like Roberto's mom.
yeah.
And like I thought this plot line would have been figured out by now, but then she's like, let's just go shopping.
That was weird.
Yeah, that's always the answer to everything, you know.
I haven't been a
Jubilee out
fan.
being a sugar baby.
Yeah, she's like,
Yes, yes.
I get it. You're kind of racist, but I'm gonna take your money.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. I mean,
She has no
reparations, you know.
scruples.
Yeah.
Reparations.
You know?
You know, do what you need
Mutant
to do.
reparations.
What were like some big scenes that stood out for you guys in this episode? Because shit hits
The
the
cameos.
fan.
The cameos on the screen. Zemo, Doom. That was dope.
Yeah.
Doom, yeah. Some other like silhouettes that like we're not quite sure. Looks like Madame Mask,
Right.
maybe.
So someone
Oh,
said
for sure,
that
she's in there.
So someone said that it's not a famous person. That person was supposed to represent just random
Mm.
human UN people that
Okay.
are part of it. That's what I read on Twitter. I don't know how true it is, but I think that's what it is. It was meant to be a nobody. But yeah, that
Okay.
was crazy. All the cameo. And like also like Doom working with like Zemo. It's kind of weird. Like because Doom is Romani, right? And it's kind of like.
It-
I don't
it
know,
was-
Doom. Yeah, you should
Well,
be trying
Doom
to do
wasn't
didn't
working with
expect this.
Zemo, right?
I mean,
Like if they're technically in the same little circle, I guess. So
little
technically, he
cabal,
is
right?
Yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly. Literally, cabal.
Yeah.
Uh, that's exactly what I felt like. I thought Doom being there was kind of off, especially being like, yeah, Romani, and also, but also I feel like, but mm, he didn't also know about the genocide. They didn't know that genocide was going to happen, so that's
Yeah,
why I was like, it's weird. But also, if he didn't know about this, but I feel like he wouldn't be as threatened with mutants. But
yeah,
I don't know, Marvel. Even in the comics, he sometimes is. It depends
Yeah.
on who writes them. But
I'm
the thing
yeah.
that's my bad. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just thinking about like Doom's motivations in this.
Yeah,
Like Zemo pro genocide,
for sure.
Doom I feel like would view genocide as a waste.
Right.
Like not
And
that he's
he did
against
say that.
genocide, it's just like
Right. And he did technically say, he said, don't mistake my inaction for
apathy.
atrocities. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
for yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, so he doesn't approve of it, but y'all are still, riding with it. So what does that say?
yeah,
You know, like that's where I was like, okay, this is off. But for me, like once again, for me, the moment that stuck out to me in this episode was, of course, another great monologue, which was by Valerie Cooper, to Bastion. And of course, once again, chills. Like that whole thing, and what the specific thing that she said, the thing is, Magneto knows us better than Charles ever does. He knows we know better. He knows we know better, and oh God, wait. Yeah, he knows we know better, and most experienced tragedies like Genosha as a little bit of deja vu before getting on with their day. I absolutely love that. Like I was like, she's not lying.
yes,
Like,
dude. Dude, there was this one part where they said that, if one person dies, it inspires people and there's martyrs of that. But if a
mm-hmm.
thousand people died, it dilutes the emotions
Yes,
that people have. And I'm like, fuck, he's right.
yes,
Even the stuff that's happening right now in the Middle East, like it's been going on for 6 months, and you're just like, shit, that's what they're doing. Like it's
right.
crazy.
And she said it. It's a profound sense of deja vu, like every time. And and even as she said that, she was like, she said the only say she said everyone thought the only sane thought as giant robots chased them and that were built to crush them. Magneto was right.
Yeah.
And then we get the iconic of once again Magneto just saying enough, and just goes out like and does an EMP on the world. Like
I mean
I
Val frees him.
Yeah.
yeah, Val frees him. Yes.
We see his tattoo, his numbers. And by the way, supposedly
Right.
his numbers have been consistent in like all
Hmm.
media.
So I think that's kind of true. Like ever since the Bryan Singer movies came out, they
Yeah.
have made them all the same. But there is one iteration where they didn't make it the same because they actually used like what the real numbers would be.
Oh.
So, because like they didn't have the right numbers
Oh.
or the number of digits. So there's like one instance where they went for like real numbers.
Mm,
But other than
Hmm.
that, like yeah, it's been consistent the whole time.
that's
Oh, I
wild.
would like that.
Yeah.
I I'm as far as I know, it hasn't sparked anyone to get those tattoos as tattoos. Because
That would be
Right.
yeah.
I would
I
hope
would
not.
I would
Right.
I would see that like
I can hope not.
anyway,
Right.
that's a separate
Very
thing.
cringy.
Yeah. You know? Like just get the X symbol on you. Or get
Right.
Magneto is right on your back.
You
You
know,
know?
Yeah.
Like
exactly. There's other ways we can
yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
Magneto.
I'm
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm glad I haven't seen anyone get those. So that's good.
yeah.
Um
But I thought the Bastion part of it, the finding out the operation of zero tolerance part was really good too. The finding out the story of Bastion. I'm not like fully versed on his story in the comics,
yeah.
so I don't know if he's originally a mutant, but
It's
I did
different. He's
kind of
It's different, it's more
yeah.
complicated in the comics. So here's also the thing that people forget is that a lot of these characters of X-Men were new when 92
Hmm.
came out.
Mhm.
So
Right.
Gambit was a completely fresh new character.
Yeah.
He was, if it wasn't for him being on the team in the cartoon, he would
not being.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wouldn't be as popular like at all because he was so new. He was like a year old. Mr. Sinister was like 1987, so he's probably been around in the comics for like 5 years at that point. Like the big storylines of these characters hadn't hit like their peak.
Because like Bobby Drake was bigger than these guys, and Nightcrawler was bigger than these guys, but they weren't really in the show. Like you could tell that from the early video games too, because they wouldn't have Gambit, they wouldn't have Jubilee, they wouldn't have Bishop.
Jubilee was also like a new 90s character at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm very insistent that if it wasn't for the cartoon, she would not be as popular as she is.
Right.
Like, love her to death now, but yeah.
Well, her character was supposed. I mean, it's very similar to Kitty Pryde, but they had done a pilot episode, Pride of the X-Men, and it failed essentially. Like, it didn't get complete. So they were like, they never had Kitty Pryde in this show ever ever again, essentially, because that. So Jubilee was essentially just Kitty Pryde again.
Yeah.
Except for the 90s.
Right, with fireworks, right?
Yeah. She got fireworks and Bret Hart glasses. That was it.
Yeah.
Right.
So we see Cyclops, Jean Grey, Cable go to this old lady's place, and she tells them the story about how Nimrod went back in time, essentially. So Nimrod has all of the memories and everything of the whole Sentinel program into the future. So Nimrod goes back in time and essentially like goes into the pants of the janitor. And then the janitor and her like get together and have a baby. Now the baby is made in normal biological way, but that baby is also part Sentinel. In a way, also kind of like a mutant. In a way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like Batman Beyond. Like, I don't know if you know the Batman Terry McGinnis storyline. It's kind of like
oh my god, oh god. Yeah, it was weird. They expressly say that he's a mutant, that he'll be the most powerful mutant that the world has ever seen, and in the show. So I was like, okay, so he's a Sentinel and a mutant all together. Like I was like, that's kind of a different take, but I also kind of didn't hate it. I was like, this is a way to take him that gives him a reason, but also makes him kind of self-hating, kind of also.
They streamlined it, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, I like that. And going back to like Jean though, the like seeing Rogue recovering from what happened to her in episode 7, but also hearing Kurt talk about her and like seeing their relationship flourish. I did like that moment. It was a nice little moment when especially when he said blood is blood, but family is a choice. And as Jean's talking about her relationship towards Cable and how she feels some kind of maternal instinct, especially ever since Madeline and her memories are kind of intermingling with each other. And like it was kind of nice to see that, like see her kind of struggle with that, but also like you see them also develop it as it goes on. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with that relationship from here.
I really liked when Cyclops is in the car and he's like, "No, we'll show him like nobody messes with the Summers."
The Summers, yeah.
I'm like, are Jean Grey and him married in this?
Right.
Who knows who he's technically married to?
Well,
that's it.
Did he actually have a wedding? Is what I mean. With
he had two.
I don't think we saw
one
it.
where Sinister was the person, so we don't know if that one was real, unless Sinister was ordained and took it to the courthouse. And then the other one,
he's like, "Look, I'm your mortal enemy, but I'm gonna do you this one."
I'm gonna make sure that you are
grow
right
up this whole time. I'm gonna see you right. I'm gonna see you out to the aisle too.
Mr. Sinister is literally in a lab mixing semen in a test tube, and he's like, he's like, but I want you guys. This semen needs to be from somebody who's married, so
gotta keep it
right. I help the Nazis, but one thing I won't be is I won't live in sin. Neither will you.
I won't have my experiment be a bastard.
I won't have my greatest experiment be a bastard. That's hilarious.
It's like, I can forgive genocide, but I stop this.
I
I
can't
cannot forgive
condone
premarital sex. Yeah.
premarital sex.
That's his line.
Yeah.
Sinister's
Who
wild.
knows what a
Yeah.
monster I'd create? Jeez,
Yeah.
what bastard I'd bring into the world.
I mean, it doesn't sound too far from people in real life.
Honestly,
you know? So,
no.
Mr. Sinister, maybe the most human of them all.
Speaking of Sinister, him in this episode and being literally compared to Dr. Mangala,
Yeah.
the Nazi doctor.
That's crazy.
And I like how they did kind of clean it up, because in the comics, of course, like, he was a Nazi doctor, but they kind of cleaned it up, like saying like, oh, I knew Dr. Mengele. He said
Yeah.
could have, like, and basically was like, he could have been a great doctor, but he was too busy trying to be a Nazi.
Yeah.
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 Uh,
We get some like really cool fight scenes. So essentially what happens, right,
Yeah.
is that everybody activates, which includes Trish Tilby, who like comes to like
Yes.
say she's sorry to Hank and to like
Mhm.
hang out, I guess, whatever they're gonna do. And then suddenly she's, a Terminator or a Borg or whatever you want to compare it to.
Right.
And then here's the question that I wanted to ask you guys, because in the last episode, Jean says that Trask is still inside the head, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Trask is still there, even though Trask activates into Sentinel mode.
Right.
Jean says Trask is still in there.
Hmm.
Are the people alive or not alive? Because
I-
there's a
that's all I
problem
was
both
thinking.
ways here.
If they are
All
not
I was
alive,
thinking.
Wolverine is
They won't be
really
now.
doing massive. He's splitting people apart.
Yeah.
Like, people are falling out of the sky right now.
Right.
Like, that, as soon as that happened, I was like, oh wait, we can't like hurt them, right? But then, like, once we started stabbing people, I was like, oh, we're all in. Okay, I guess we're just
Yeah.
doing it.
We just stabbing
And
people now.
right, I guess this is just how we're gonna live now. And but then I was thinking, I was like, wait, are they gonna be alive? Like, they're technically healing their bodies, but also like,
Wait, do they
what
heal?
does this
Did we
mean?
see
Yeah.
them?
Yeah,
Because he
some
cuts
of them
off the
were like
arm and it
self-repairing.
comes back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so they can't. Oh, so then they'll get depowered and de-sentineled. I forgot
hopefully.
that they can pull themselves back together because I knew Nimrod can, but I forgot that.
But that EMP though, like, they fell out of the sky. Like,
Yeah, but they'll wake up and be like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
true. It's
They'll be
comics. I
human
forget.
again." I
Trask
wouldn't.
Trask
Right.
didn't wake up from the EMP human though, did he?
Nah, but they
He
killed
probably
the
just got
absolute hell out of him.
knocked out or something, right?
No-
My,
Oh yeah, he's in the tube. Under the
oh yeah.
the mansion.
Oh. okay,
Yeah.
so
Well, because my big concern is they show a lot of like who these Sentinels were before they get activated.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's the
And they're,
dad
like,
and the
people who
mom
are
of the
close to them.
family, and like the kids didn't get taken, but the mom and dad
Yes.
did. They activated, and like Trish
What if
Tilby,
one of their
you
What if one of their parents is a mutant? What if one of their kids is a mutant? Like, y'all, I don't like, this is gonna be, yeah, the next few episodes are gonna be real. They haven't
the
been
thing is,
afraid to go there.
Here's the thing: the people that they experimented on were already like bigots and kind of haters. They forgot that they did this, but they did generally do this. So Trisha's kind of a bitch, man.
Well, but
Oh,
wait. We
shit.
know that they said they did take a lot of these people who were on the message boards and whatever, but I'm sure they also took just people in power and in different positions, right?
True.
Like,
Okay.
Yeah, there
you
was a
think
lot of
Trish
people
Tilby's
there.
on an incel message board?
He's on 4chan.
True.
You know?
He's on 4chan right there.
Yeah, and like this dad and mom, like, sure they could be racist, but then also they could just be like rando people, like the whole town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
I
true.
don't
Yeah, he
know.
did the whole town. The whole town can't be racist.
Like his
Like,
whole
statistically
hometown.
speaking.
I don't know. You don't know
Like,
some towns.
yeah,
That's
for
true.
sure.
That's true.
I'm
That's
about to say, but there has to be at least like 2 or 3 like just reasonable people. Like,
Yeah.
like someone who just like, they can't be that bad. Like,
That-
you know.
Yeah, that is a mutant sundown town. It's like, that is, you're just driving, you're like, oh, should we stop here in
That's
Sentinelville?
exactly what it is.
Nope.
Nope.
It's Sentinel Town.
They
Oh my God,
They
it's Sentinel
activate
Town.
after, nighttime. You're like, nope, we're
Nope.
good. Keep going. Keep driving.
Yeah. They have no muties on the like welcome sign
Yeah.
kind of
God,
type energy.
I hate every time I hear the term muties, it like hurts my soul.
Yes, yes,
Because
kind of.
like I'm Muslim and like we get called muzzies and it's kind of like too close and I'm just like,
Oh,
oh,
damn.
Like,
Okay.
oh,
I was like,
okay, okay.
oh.
Okay. I mean, in the comics, they have even more rando names for like,
Oh,
they have
Oh
like
yeah, Gene Trader,
Gene Freak.
Gene Freak. Yep.
yeah.
Gene Freaks are mutants. Flat scans are humans.
Flat scans are
It's
that's
their
the best one though.
slur towards humans is flat scans.
That's
Fucking
so
flat
funny.
scan.
Like different, whatever. But
Or baseline, or
oh
yeah, or
yeah,
they call them baseliners.
yeah.
Baseliners.
So it's anyway, whatever. We see all these Prime Sentinels activate and everything, and like everybody's turning. I was just afraid that it would be like the Starros in the Suicide Squad, where like once they latch onto
Oh
you,
God,
you're essentially
yeah,
dead, right?
that's
You,
what I thought too.
you can't unlatch yourself. I was afraid that like maybe the Prime Sentinels can't unlatch. So once they're
Right,
part of you, they're part of you, and you're dead.
right. I
I don't know.
hope not, because there's some like people there, like especially like because yeah, like Trish Tilby and like like Roberto, he had to deal with his like servant who I'm assuming basically kind of helped raise him, like
The
kind
Butler
of
guy,
just like,
yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Butler guy, right? I feel like he probably like those people. I feel like we kind of need them back. So like I hope that they're not all gone, but
I mean, Magneto did the EMP, so there's definitely planes up in the sky that came crashing down.
They have
whoa,
to.
I
They have
just
to.
forgot about that.
If they don't explain it in the next episode, I'm just gonna
Oh
assume
yeah,
that people died, unless
Yeah.
they explain that like, oh,
exactly.
The
No, no,
Avengers
no.
mobilized and caught every plane.
No. The showrunner said they died. Like somebody tweeted the showrunner and Bo, and he was like, "What about the power plants and what about the planes that killed?" Yes, they all died.
Oh yeah, somebody's gonna die. Yeah,
Yeah,
like there's too much. The EMP, there's too much that can happen for no one to not die.
yeah.
Like there's a cartoon, but no, it's not
No.
that sweet. Like I just refuse. Yeah, there
Yo,
people. If Genosha happened, we're gonna
did
get
that
it.
mean Iron Man is dead? Because his heart is like electrical.
Well, we don't know at this point. We don't know
Whoa.
at this point
He
what
probably found a backup real quick. He probably
like
has
Yeah,
one.
true.
knowing Iron Man, he has like a full wooden suit. It's
Right.
just like
That's true.
it's just this like made out of logs.
I'm sure he had the
Right. I
EMP
feel like at this
like
point,
blocker, like an
I was
RFID
just
blocker.
about to say, you are dealing with an electric heart and you are a man of metal. You should have like some kind of EMP blocker or something
Yeah,
always on you for this exact, like an EpiPen before your heart.
that is funny.
uh,
Yeah.
mm,
I I don't know. Anyway, point is that like a lot of stuff is going down. Also, just side note, I don't know if you noticed that like a lot of the Sentinel characters keep popping up in different locations. Like they couldn't just make another person who looks like it. Like there's a specific guy with a high top fade
Yeah,
who
yeah.
just he's in
yes.
Brazil and suddenly he's in like
But is that
Westchester.
but is that homage to the original? Because the originals did that too. The original cartoons would be like notorious for doing that.
Oh,
Maybe,
for
maybe.
sure.
I mean, maybe it's
Oh,
maybe it's on purpose.
maybe.
You know?
Yeah, it might be on purpose because they definitely did that a lot to the point where
It
like
could be a little
almost
bit of
like it's
both.
really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, now, what was your now? I want you guys to answer honestly. What is your favorite moment out of this? What was your favorite storyline out of this?
In this episode,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did like Wolverine and Nightcrawler teaming up. I think that was
Yeah.
like the best moment. But I also like the Val having like a heart to heart with Magneto.
Yeah,
Yo, but why was Magneto
yeah.
so ripped and naked in that scene?
Why was he so ripped and
Because
naked? He's ripped. I don't. He's naked
Magnus is
because
daddy.
Yo, I was like, what are they doing to us?
Mate.
Trying to
Oh yeah,
awaken something
look,
in us.
also
that's
not
exactly it.
just ripped and naked, but like spread eagle in the X.
Yes,
Yeah,
with the
Da Vinci Man.
with the coin, right? With the whitey tidies, and we appreciate it. Look, everyone knows, no
Actually, it
matter
wasn't
what
tiny
era
whiteys. They were.
Magneto
It
is,
was
Tiny
like it was
blackies.
black.
purple
Yeah.
warples. I don't know.
No, it was black. They were black. They were black
Okay.
undies.
Okay, and That's probably for the
It's
best. We
stylish.
don't want any.
Stylish.
Yeah, it is. It did. But one thing they're gonna do, they're gonna objectify Magneto in any like in any iteration, no matter what era. Magneto's gonna be a daddy for someone,
You know what's
and
really
we appreciate
funny?
that.
People complain about like Rogue's ass not being in there, and look what they give us for Magneto.
Right?
Well,
Like they give us,
They took away some, but they gave us something else.
I mean,
and I
Bo
sincerely
DeMaio,
appreciate it.
Bo DeMaio's doing what he wants.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and
That's fair.
it
That's
was
fair. I can't fault him for that. You know.
every gay boy has thought about Magneto once or twice.
I
Speaking as
don't.
one.
I don't. I don't like. I don't get like how old Magneto is supposed to be. How old is
you
he?
know,
No, this is
we
97.
don't ask
The
those
year is
questions.
97 right now.
Right, but like also compared to Rogue with their romance, like come on. I don't.
That
Is he old? Is he
ugh,
not like?
Well, World War II was
I
in
would
like what
assume he's the
45.
same,
So if it's
right?
97, he's still under 50.
Yeah,
That's not that
and
old.
he
No,
was
but
a
he
kid
was a
when it
kid in
happened, so
World War II, but a
he's
kid
probably
old enough to have his powers activate, right? Depending on the
right.
continuity,
Okay, so he's got to
And
be
remember,
12.
he'd be
he's
like
still around the
12.
same age as Charles,
Dude, like
and
Tom
Yeah,
Charles
Cruise is
isn't
like
that old.
60. If Tom Cruise can look like that at 60, I could see Magneto doing it.
That part, that true.
I don't want
And
to
Charles and
actively
him,
talk about Tom Cruise here, but like Tom Cruise, we're seeing him look old lately. Like his stuff is makeup and like special effects now. Like him.
all
Anyway,
hail Xena.
whatever. You're right. Magneto is the same age as Professor X, so it would be like Professor
Yeah,
X hooking up with Rogue.
and him and the kids aren't that far apart in age either. So like, I
In
would
the
assume they're
original
not.
comics, but that's been retconned. We don't, you know, we
Yeah,
don't know. We don't know.
true,
Anyway, he is ripped,
true.
and like, good for him.
Yeah, we
He's
love
got the
that.
T90X, man. He's still doing
All
it.
right, exactly. Pushing that iron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just find it funny. I just find it funny that they have him in an X, and it's like that's either on
Oh my
purpose or
God, they
not on
do.
purpose, right? Like, is it branding? Is it
Well, no, it's the symbol, the Da Vinci Man. That's
the
the symbol for the
Oh
Vitruvian
Da
yeah,
Man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I
I
was out
mean,
here just
okay,
objectifying him,
but
and
also
this
I don't know. The Sentinels choosing an X to put him up, like it has to be ironic, right? Like it has to be
for sure,
like a slap in the
for
face.
sure.
Mm,
Right,
Poetic. Maybe they have a sense
Yeah.
of poetic irony.
poetic,
Yeah, they're
right?
like, okay,
Yeah,
it's not like any of their other letters work. Like, put it in a B for Bastion, and just like Magneto's just like hunched
Like
over in a
an
B.
S.
So he's like a lowercase B. I don't
like a
know,
cheerleader.
or an
Give me
S,
an L.
an S for Sentinels, or like an
Right,
N for Nimrod. Like, no, they're like, let's just go with X.
right.
It's
It just
fine,
works, guys.
you know.
It's the
Um,
classic Bond villain like trap where you
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
But even
Yeah.
Bond villains didn't put him in a J
yeah,
or a 007, like in a like.
yeah.
I don't know. All right. So as we close this up, basically what happens is Magneto gets freed. Magneto does the EMP. All the electric shut down, and then at the same time, Xavier pops in, and he's like, "To me, my X-Men." And like,
Mhm.
But only the popular ones because he didn't show that.
every time he got his faves,
he
and
has a face, you
He's
know.
got his favorite.
But we see
right,
Storm. We see Storm like tune in, which is cool. But like,
right.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of just wanted Xavier to be dead for this series. I was
Yeah,
okay with it,
Well, we
would
knew
have
he
been fine
wasn't,
with it.
so they
Yeah,
would have to
but I was
either make
okay with him
dead or
being
explain.
dead or just like disappearing forever. I'm cool
There's
with
still
it.
time. He could die.
yeah.
Yeah,
If they hadn't brought him back, I would have been fine. Like I thought, like the show would have still thrived. But
yeah,
now that he is, but once you found out that he's alive, now I'm like, well, you can't not bring him back. Like, like once he was
Yeah.
there, I was like, well, you can't not have him do it because then for me, especially with somebody who thinks about like the background and like connection to people, I'm just like, I feel like that would be crazy that he just wouldn't want to go back, like at all.
But
Yeah.
here's
And
what I like
yeah,
about it. I liked about it because it poses the same question that the Dark Knight Rises posed. It's like there was an honorable lie used to manipulate society and
hmm
to get people's way. So now people are going to find out that this was a lie, which is going to have ramifications, kind of like it had in
yes,
the Dark Knight Rises. So I thought that was really interesting and it adds an extra layer to the plot. So I'm really
right.
curious to how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
Right, because you find out like this whole thing has been hinged on the death of Professor Xavier, and now that that's not a thing, especially with Gyrick dying too, it kind of like okay, this and after Genosha, it kind of like is a domino effect.
Yeah.
Right. And Magneto is back to being an instigator, you know?
Yeah, he just declared war, like Wolverine said, he declared war on the humans,
Right.
and yeah, he did. Like he may not have meant that, which he probably did, but like what happened, yeah, he definitely did that,
I don't
and I'm
want
kind of ready for
Magneto
it.
to be evil again.
I
I
don't
I
either.
think it ruins his development to make him flip flop so often. Like
Yes,
the X-Men movies did that so often,
yes,
where it was like, I don't
Gives you
know,
whiplash.
like like Magneto in the comics now for the past like maybe 10 years or so, he's not so much a
right,
villain as he is like, hey, I'm going to do some tough shit, but like I'm still going to
right,
team up with you guys. Like we're good. Just like
right,
sometimes if if the Red Skull goes missing and, he just so happens to be tortured in like
yeah,
this pit, just like look the other way cuz, you know,
right.
I'm getting
There's no
my own treatment here.
right. He's the best at what he does.
Right. Like, and the X-Men have also blurred the line in the past however many years, the past
Right.
20 years, where they're like, sometimes you torture, sometimes you kill.
You know,
It wasn't,
like
it is what it is.
all of them have killed someone at one point,
I mean,
rather
haven't we
by
all,
accident.
you know?
Yeah, I've definitely
That
killed a
that
spirit
is
or
a
two.
joke, by the way, for anyone,
Right,
uh,
officer, if you're listening, I would
I
never do
don't
such a thing.
I don't know him.
yeah.
I, listen, I'm the
Um,
Muslim one. I'm the one that's wiretapped. So
oh, yeah. Oh, no.
I
Oh, no.
can't.
So I just don't want Magneto flip flopping back to bad. I want him
Yeah,
to be like, look, I'm still good. We just use the EMP, and they're like, you got to think through your decisions. And he's like, look, I made the best decision at that
yeah,
moment in time, and I'm sorry if people died. I didn't actively kill anyone. I stopped the
right.
Sentinels. Like,
But shit
yeah, it
happens,
wasn't
right?
murder. It was manslaughter.
yeah,
That's the
And
line.
then they're like, okay, we're gonna put him on trial again, and then he's like, okay, this time we're not going back to trial.
Right.
I'm good, right? And so, like, I
He
don't
did
know.
say, "Don't let me let you down." And
Exactly. Every time. And
Yeah,
I think that's also it speaks to who Magneto is also because anytime he got like now if he does it, it's always a big reason as to why he does like a big thing like this. And yeah, this one I hope he doesn't they don't do a flip-flopping moment, but honestly, after this moment, I wouldn't be mad or surprised if he did do a flip flop moment here
Mhm.
because especially let's be honest y'all like what they not only did they do Genosha but they kind of re-traumatized the man who already went through a genocide already
Yeah,
and
right.
like and now he's being recaptured like y'all just re-traumatized this man all over again so that's why I was like this when he did the EMP I was like yeah no this is what happens I'm not surprised about this
Um, yeah. I mean, uh, I I don't think he's gonna flip flop. I don't think he is. In fact, if I was, how like sometimes we all theorize what's coming next. I think
yeah
about what would I do if I was like the writer on the show, because like
Mhm.
people
right
don't know me as a writer, but I'm a writer. But like I try to think of like what's the best opportunities you can get out of these decisions. Sometimes
right
when you write CW shows, their job is just to keep the wheels turning and
right.
keep these like romantic stuff um you know uh to do
right
that, but um if I was writing this, I would finish the Sentinel plot at the end of this and do a schism. And so in the comics, what happened in Schism is Cyclops and Wolverine went two different ways. One believed in like basically a philosophical difference. They're both good guys.
Right.
I would love at the end of this season, the way I would do it is that the X-Men split into two teams. One
do like an X-Men Blue
goes
Gold
more
moment.
hardcore with Magneto, and Magneto's not villainous. We're not dealing with one villain team and one good team. We're dealing with two differing philosophies. Because we've kind of been dealing with that a little bit in like in the past couple episodes, where Morph was like, is this what we are now? Is this who we are?
Right.
We also deal with Rogue, killing Trask. And like Cyclops might not agree with that, right? But like Wolverine did. So like I wouldn't be surprised if they split into two teams. I think Wolverine, I think Rogue would go with Magneto, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Morph would stay with Professor X. Now that Professor X is back and Magneto, they could both,
Honestly, after all this, I can see Cyclops going over to like a Wolverine side with this. Especially after that the interview that he had with Trish, talking about how you guys are lucky that
Beast
that we
too.
do this.
Beast was also
I
getting a
was
little
just
testy.
thinking him too. Yeah, with Trish, I was like, oh, this is getting kind of intense.
Well,
especially
every character's intense, right? But like, are they intense enough to agree with Magneto? I think Storm definitely stays with Xavier.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're right.
I think
like
Jean and Storm are there.
Cyclops and Storm go to lead their respective teams.
Right. I feel like that was a defining moment for both like Cyclops and Beast. Like they may not turn, but it's definitely going to be a conflict for both of them later on, especially for Beast.
Yeah.
Because God forbid if they do like a Threnody moment, Jesus.
I think what Beast needs to realize is he needs to stop dating humans.
Kinda.
Human women are trouble. Okay.
Kinda. You can't trust them.
Doesn't matter if they're blind. Doesn't matter if they can see. Doesn't matter if they're reporters.
Throwback to this blind love.
Wasn't he in love with a computer at one point? Like,
I mean, haven't we all been?
Who hasn't fallen in love with technology once in a while?
AI, little AI action going on right here.
Joaquin
Who hasn't
Phoenix.
been catfished by an AI once or twice?
What do you guys think of them having a little nod to maybe Apocalypse at the end of this? Because they keep showing him in the title card with Cable, and I feel like something's gonna happen. Also, there's a way to bring Gambit back if we have Apocalypse.
Honestly, yeah.
So that's my theory, right? My theory has always been that Magneto is still alive, in which he is, and then that Gambit is dead, but will be brought back by Apocalypse. I wouldn't mind for next season to have two teams, and then have them come back together to fight Apocalypse.
They just got renewed for season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So we're definitely getting that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what are the long-term ramifications of all these moves, right? We're going to deal with mutants being menaces again. Mutants aren't going to be the heroes, but maybe one mutant team will be a hero team, right?
Right.
Xavier could still have a hero team, and Magneto have sort of a more hardcore X-Force team, maybe?
Exactly. Yeah. Like that can give give us a chance to get like Colossus and everybody in the teams, like Psylocke, which I'm very surprised. Like they always hint to Psylocke, even in the original one, we get like a glimpse of Psylocke, but we never get Psylocke. And I'm like,
and she's like a main X-Men.
Yeah, like she's an iconic X-Men. Like there's no way you can't bring her up. Like even with the troubles of the white lady being in the Asian woman's body, like the story is she's still a pretty great character that should be brought in. And there's definitely ways they can revamp that storyline to make it work.
Yeah. For sure.
Also, we didn't mention that Spider-Man and Silver Samurai also make an appearance.
Yeah.
The actual Spider-Man.
Sure did.
And
I
Omega
screamed when I
Red.
saw Spider-Man.
And Omega Red, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, Rush is gonna be in for a time and a half when he gets out. Look,
I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Russian storyline because we've yet to see Colossus, and Magic.
Yeah.
Like, we've shown older Magic. There's no reason why Morph
Yes.
would know older Magic
That.
if
That.
older Magic didn't exist, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
So
Like, we need a flashback moment to New Mutants or something,
I
because
maybe we get a New Mutants episode next season, right? We got
I'm
Roberto.
right,
Like, we just need Cannonball. We need Ilyana. Like,
right. Moonstar, Danny Moonstar.
yeah,
Like we are, we need and because we've already seen like Cannonball in the original one.
yeah.
They showed little minor little characters, but
Yeah.
we need them, and especially, oh wait, Moira's dead, so I don't know where
They don't have
Wolfsbane.
to do things exactly, right? Like,
Nah, of course, yeah,
something
true,
that I
true.
liked about X-Men Evolution is that essentially their New Mutants in X-Men
Yeah,
Evolution were just like freshmen. Like, they
yeah.
weren't all the New Mutants characters. Like, Jubilee was on the New Mutants in X-Men Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Sunspot was there. Cannonball was there.
Right,
I think Multiple Man was like the
right. He was the
kid who could like
youngest
swing.
one.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's in New Mutants. Like, you could do what you want, you know. But I
Right,
am looking forward to what's to come because I
for
really
sure.
hope there's a big schism, something big that changes the status quo of the team. That's not a
Right.
death, but like a new,
Yeah,
like new
changes them
stories that can be
profoundly.
told. You know,
Mhm.
Right. Is there a particular storyline that you're hoping that they do in the past? I mean, in the future?
in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like they're gonna bring Scarlet Witch into this and give her a big role.
I
Yo,
don't. I don't think they
I
are.
think
I think they're purposely not because. Am I bursting your bubble, Neebs? I'm sorry.
No, well, here's the thing. Somebody mentioned on
Yeah.
Twitter that like Scarlet Witch was their favorite character, and then Bo replied, "You're gonna love the finale."
say fucking
I
less.
wouldn't
I
mind. I
it
wouldn't
might be a
mind
red
it.
herring, but I
Yeah.
I saw that
It's
tweet and
okay.
he goes, "You're gonna love the finale." That's what.
I wouldn't.
Like,
I wouldn't mind Magneto getting his children together. You
Yeah.
know,
yes,
Scarlet Witch,
I would love
Quicksilver,
that.
and Polaris.
Yes, I would love that. Absolutely love that. And I thought, yeah, Genosha would have been a perfect time to bring them up. Oh my gosh. I kind of think they will do a House of M moment of some kind. Um, and you know what? I kind of put out in the universe that Genosha happened, and I didn't think it was going to happen, but it happened. So I'm going to put that in the ether. I think they can do a crossover, and I think that, especially with them not being scared to show random characters like Captain America and Spider-Man and stuff, I feel like they could do it. And I would be okay with
I
it.
don't. I don't want the Avengers to be main characters or to be prominent in this show. Like, this is the X-Men's
No.
house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Not
And like,
prominent, right.
Avengers suck.
Oh, for sure. They're
Like,
comics.
I don't know if you went back and watched One Man's Worth, but in One Man's Worth, they have an alternate future where the Avengers show up, and they're like, some of them are off brand and some of them aren't, but it's kind of cool the way they do it. So like Giant Man is the actual costume of Giant Man, but then I
Oh
think they
yeah.
have the Wasp and her costume is a little bit different, and
Yeah,
then they have
yeah.
Scarlet Spider on that team,
Oh yeah.
and then they have a guy who's not Captain America, but he looks kind of like a pastiche to it. So
Hmm.
you know, what they're willing to do, what they're not, I don't know.
But I think that
Right.
was because of legal issues and stuff like that. Because I read about that, and they were like, they were just trying to get away. Like they have Black Panther, but they call him African King. So like they were just trying to
Yeah.
get away from it. Now that like Disney owns everything, they probably have an easier time
Right.
getting the non-Walmart brand superheroes.
You know,
Yeah.
this is their chance to revamp the Avengers cartoon if they want to. Just putting that out there.
I mean, yeah, if they do it well, you know,
That
but
that
also
also.
I'm just cool with I just love let's not all lives matter this show here. You know what I mean? Like,
Never that.
you
Right.
know, this is the X-Men show. Like, we don't
That is true. That is
let
true.
the Avengers do what they want to do.
You know what?
elsewhere,
You're
you
right.
Yeah.
know?
I get that.
Motion carries. Motion carries.
Yeah, you know, whose show is this? Who, you know, who
Yeah.
after 15 years of just nobody knows who the
Right.
X-Men are, finally
We're
get
not.
their show back, you know?
Yeah.
This is an Avengers Assemble. This is a To Me
Yeah.
My X-Men. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um as we close up this episode, I want to thank both you so much for coming on here and talking about this. And it's kind of funny because like Monday nights is just the only time we could fit this after show in, but like in like 24 hours there's going to be a new episode, and I think it's kind of funny that like we are the tail end of the discussion and the thoughts of the week at the end, and then we move on to a new episode. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because
I'm
I actually
scared.
like doing it because I can. It gets me excited to watch it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, I feel like I get to absorb everyone's thoughts by the whole week,
Yes.
like all the hot takes and all of like
Right.
the Easter eggs, and then I get to talk about it and give people
Right.
a full story of like what happens, right? And it's a recap so that you can get ready for the next episode right before it comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then give everybody the stragglers to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get going, thank you to everybody out there for watching. I know Merlin the Hermit was there earlier. If anyone's watching us on YouTube or Twitch, twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe listen to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from. We got Apple Podcasts and Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Apple Music for podcasts, and SoundCloud. I believe those are the ones.
Audible.
Yeah, it's like 2 different services in one. I don't know, it's weird. But it's all like through Amazon Podcasts and the way they do things. But we're on there now. If you're watching us live or listening to us, thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know you're out there. If you're listening to us, give us a shout out. Let us know. Before we get going, though, Aaron, where can people find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
But of course, so you can always catch me at Cocoa on TikTok, Twitter, and Discord. Maybe thinking about Instagram. We'll see. But you can also catch me at Instagram on King of Thrones. Zero where the O is in Thrones.
Awesome. Neebs, I know you got a lot going on, stuff you can talk about and stuff you can't talk about. So you let us know. Where can we find you? What do you got coming up?
Sure.
Anything you want to plug?
Absolutely. You can find me on every platform at Watch with Neebz. Neebz is spelled Neebz. I'm on X, Instagram, and TikTok. I also have a podcast called Salam Nerds, where we do shows just like this, where we recap episodes for Marvel, Star Wars, and reality TV. So like The Bachelor, Love is Blind, all that stuff. And we have a weekly episode every Sunday at 10 p.m. where we just recap all the current events and then do science topics, like nerd topics, like facts, like, science, history, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I have a documentary/reality show coming out in the fall. It doesn't have a name yet. It's a Muslim matchmaking show where I will be put on dates, and I will go on dates, and they will be aired on television, and you'll get to see if I find love.
Awesome. I hope you
Come
do
on
find
Hulu.
love.
On Hulu, yeah.
I hope you find love. I hope that you become famous, but not too famous.
Yeah, that's the goal. I tell people I never want to be famous. I want to be famous adjacent. I want famous people to know who I am, but I don't want everyone, the world, to know who I am.
Yeah.
A good C-pluster,
Yeah. You have your privacy, you have your moments, but but like you walk into a room and like a celebrity's like, "Hey, I remember you," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what's up."
I mean, yeah, I get that.
That's all we can aspire to be.
That's it. Shoot for the moon, guys. That way you're amongst the stars.
I love that.
You guys are both really cool. I thank you guys both so much for coming on this. For anyone out there who wants to find more Keeg stuff, we are on social media on TikTok and Instagram at The Keeg Show. We are also on Facebook and Twitter and Threads and all that at The Keeg Show / The Keeg Show, whatever. If you want to follow me and see what else I'm up to, me, Dimithri, you can find me at This Is Dimithri on social media, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Right now, I'm on a 10-episode winning streak on the game show Person, Place, or Thing. Tomorrow is my 11th episode. We'll see if I continue that winning streak. So Neebz, if you ever need a trivia king, let me know. Got a lot of random facts up here. So, and for anyone who wants to watch Person, Place, or Thing, that's on Fox. Find your local Fox Showtime for that show, Person, Place, or Thing. because it's a little bit different for every single Fox area. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Thank you guys so much for watching out there. Definitely watch X-Men 97 episode 9 coming up. But this episode, this was the X-Men 97 after show for episode 8. Tolerance is Extinction part 1. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Deuces.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat the